Hey everybody, GravyTrain here with another episode of GravyTraining. This one I'm going to give a quick tutorial of how I use the auction house, some of the features and things like that. This is really the best way to make money in the game. So I'm going to kind of start off from the beginning and go from there. So first of all, to get to the auction house, you can either travel on any of the maps to where the auction house is. You can see here that Wentworth's consignment is the auction house here, but you don't have to go there anymore. So what you can do is you can just go into any chat and type /AH for auction house, and it pulls up the auction house interface. So just some things around here. So the bottom, you can see okay, this is all of the things that I've got that I'm selling on here, or that I've got stored. You can actually store items in the auction house up to a certain point. So you can kind of use it to store stuff that you don't want to sell but don't want to hold on to. You can, I've got all this stuff up here that I'm selling for various amounts. You can get the items, or you can hit find to figure out what they've been selling at. So right now I've got this listed at 12. It's a little high. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it. And that was a recipe. So I'm going to click down here. You have to actually open up your recipes and then drag it over here. And I'm just going to list it for 10 million instead of 12. And just hit post, and then now it's selling. When it's sold, the items that I've actually sold, you can see here. So I can just get all of this influence. You can see I've got a bunch of salvage, invention salvage, as well as a recipe that I have sold. So I'm going to get all influence. You can see that was about 13 million, something like that, influence that I made off of those items. Say I was bidding, I'll just throw a quick silly bid in here, but I can see okay, it's bidding. Now how much should that actually be, etc. I can say, okay, now here, find it and then cancel, so I can cancel my bid. When you bid on something, you do not pay any fees. So you can bid. So I guess taking a step back, the auction house works on I forget the term that they use, but it is a hidden auction. So basically nobody sees how much you've listed it for, unless you're posting it on a YouTube video. Nobody sees how much you've listed the items for. They put in their own bids. They can see what the item has sold for. And I don't know how it chooses which item or which one sells, if it's first come first serve or whatever. But say I bid 10 million on this and somebody listed it for 9 and I sold their item, they're gonna get 10 million, not the 9 million that they had it listed for. They are also then gonna pay a fee, which is a percentage. I don't know how much the percentage is, probably 10% or something, 5%, 10%. They're going to pay a fee from their portion of the sale. So you don't pay anything for buying it, but they pay for selling it. So if I listed an item for, say I listed that purple recipe for 1 influence, and somebody bid 10 million, I would still get 10 million if I'm the one that sold. I don't know all the mechanics of how it chooses who sells. But again, so if somebody comes in and bids 3 million and mine is the one that gets picked to sell, then I will get the full amount. But nobody knows how much I had listed it for, again, unless I'm posting it on a YouTube video. So that is kind of the mechanics there. So by bidding, I don't know how much, you can see here, it's okay, there's 32 for sale, 241 bidding. If I wanted to, say I want to go to attuned enhancements, which are going to be super expensive. These are all the really expensive ones. So I can see, okay, this is 13 million it was sold for. There's 17 for sale. the fewer for sale, chances are the price is going up because people are greedy. So it's kind of, well, and it's kind of supply and demand, whatever, but it's a very capitalistic sort of system, with the exception of you can't really take advantage or you can't exploit it because people are not, you can't see what the actual list price is. So I might bid 13 million, and if nobody is selling it for 13 million or less, then, so if I bid 1, no way in the world anybody has this listed for 1. So it's going to sit here. Now this bid will stick around until I cancel it or until it sells. So say I'm willing to pay 10 million for this, and I put in a bid. So say I hit cancel and say I put in a bid for 1 million. I'm willing to pay 1 million for this. It'll never sell for 1 million, but I'm willing to pay $1 million for this. If I leave this sitting here and somebody accidentally puts in, instead of 10 million, they put in 1 million, or they do it on purpose for some reason, I will have a chance to win it. And win it at that price, and they will only get the 1 million. I'm assuming it's the lowest bid that meets the criteria is probably it, but again, I don't know all the ins and outs of the back end of how it works. So if I don't know exactly what they're all selling for, you can see the trends. The top one is the most recent. The bottom one is the least recent, but it's only 5 of them anyways. So you can see across the last 3 days, only 5 of these have been sold across the last 3 days, or there's possibly more before this, but anyhow, yeah, you can see the amount. So this gives you an idea. So I might say, okay, say I bid 10 million here. I couldn't buy it for 10 million. So I could bid 11 million. And then am I going to be able to buy it for 11 million? Probably not. Then I'd go up to 11.5 or 12 or 13 or 15. I can keep bidding and removing my bid until I get an amount that actually wins me what I'm trying to buy. So you can search. There's autocomplete. So for example, Superior Brute's Fury. I can just hit tab. Now with these, it's not important to worry about the level. But say I wanted Frozen Blast. And is this going to be a 0 type? Okay, Ice Mistral. We'll go Ice Mistral's Torment. Ice Mistral's Torment. So you can see here, you can get these as low as level 20. I want to make sure that I don't buy a level 20 one. So I want to make this at 50. And I also don't want to see there's some kind of ghost items that are higher. So I want to make sure that I'm only getting level 50. Now you can see there's 2 different icons here. This is an enhancement. This is a recipe. Sometimes you want to buy the recipes. It can be cheaper if you build it yourself. Most times it ends up like these are not going to be that much cheaper to where by the time you buy all of the salvage, you might save some money, but you can also get these in drops and that sort of thing. But yeah, so if I wanted to buy this entire set, now here's where I don't know. I could bid 1 million. Oops. Make an offer. Oh, okay. So I just bought this item for 1 million influence. So you can see, obviously somebody had it listed for less than 1 million or 1 million exactly, and I just bought it. So yeah, good to know there. So now I can do get, and I can open my enhancements, and I can drag it back here, and I can sell it. I'm not going to sell it for a profit. I'll just post it for 1 million and be done. So I'll get my money back. Actually, I'll get less than my money back because I'll have to pay a fee for selling it. But I'm not worried. I farm a lot. So yeah, that is basically the process as you're using it to shop. You can filter based on, like, it's easiest when you're using mids, because mids puts all of the information right in front of you in the other app. and then you can just search for the type, buy all of them that you need, and you're done. You could also buy recipes or buy salvage. Typically, if I'm building invention, origin, IO enhancements, I'll buy salvage for them, and then I just search for specifically for the salvage. If you're looking for a recipe, and put this back down to 1, so I can click here. You can also search for the salvage used in this recipe, so I can buy these ahead of time, that sort of thing. There are some, so like for example, Brute's Fury. These do not have a level associated with them. So if I had these locked to level 50, there's not going to be anything that shows up. So you want to be conscious of that. So like you search, you can't find it, it's worth, and I don't know why they do that. It just makes it more confusing. But bear in mind, if you don't find it, these are always out there to buy. Like you'll always get the list. It's just a matter of whether or not, how many are for sale, and how much they're going for. You can see the fewer for sale, the more these are going to be, that sort of thing. So a lot of the sets, if they're not a tier 3, if they're not in a attuned enhancement, the attuned enhancements have no level. The other crafted enhancements do have levels. So those are the ones that you want to make sure that you put in the level that you are, or that you're buying for, and you'll get the right things there. As far as the rest, like if you were searching for dual origin or single origin enhancements, something like that, then your origin might matter. If you're buying those on the auction house, you're probably doing something wrong. Rarity, you could search for like rare salvage or rare recipes. You can search based purely on for sale or what people are bidding on. Yeah, that is kind of it. So you can buy inspirations here, you can buy recipes here, you can buy salvage here, and you can buy enhancements here. I think that, the other thing is, so you, like, say I had a store open here. I cannot drag from the store to the enhancement window. I have to open up my recipes or open up my salvage and drag those over. Typically, when I'm farming, I sell and I keep and sell. Well, I keep to sell. I don't sell to the vendor. I sell in the auction house all of the orange salvage, and I pretty much sell it all. I list it all at 300,000. Because if I do a find, the lowest that these are going to go for is like 325, something like that. You might get as high as like 450, 425. If I just sell all of my orange salvage for 300,000, if somebody bids 400,000, I make 400,000. So just hit post. Do the same thing here. I typically sell them one at a time. If I've got a stack of multiple, I break them down into individuals, and I just automatically sell all my orange at 300K. That makes it nice and easy. I actually delete, unless I need it for something, I delete the yellow and the white. By the time you go through with the user interface to sell the yellow and the white salvage, it's so kind of clunky. You make such little money. Like the common salvage, the white salvage, sells for 250 influence. It is not worth the time to go through unless you're really hurting for money. Like you sell 100 of them, you've made 25,000. Or you made 2,500. So, no. They sell for 250. Yeah, so you sell 100 of them, you made 25,000. I make 25,000 like nothing here. So it's not worth it to sell those. The yellows you might get like 2,000 for by selling them individually. Again, you sell 100 of them, you made 200,000. 200,000 isn't that much to sneeze at. but you don't get enough of them to matter. You might get like a dozen. It's not really worth it. Like my time and getting through this and getting back to farming is much more valuable. You may be different. I won't judge anything like that. Don't judge me for being me. So that's it. As far as recipes, so there's a couple of kinds of recipes. There's going to be, you'll get recipes that are invention recipes, and you'll get workbench recipes. So you'll get recipes for IO, invention, origin, enhancements. Those sell to the vendor for like 100,000 each. So that's why, once again, you can sell those so quickly. You get so many of those. It's not worth selling the cheap salvage. So those recipes, if you're not using them, they're worth selling or keeping them if you know you're going to need them. But if you're not going to need them, then just sell them. Then you'll get invention recipes, which are going to be basically yellow, orange, and purple. So here, like this one is probably not going to sell for very much. Oh, and I'm completely wrong. So this one happens to sell for 2.7 million. I'm just going to list it for matter of fact, I'm going to list it for like 2 million. I'm not that hurting for cash, so I'll post it. And you can see I immediately, the number went up from 4 to 5. So somebody had been bidding on this and it just immediately sold. Same with all this. So remember, I posted this for 325 or for 300. I got 325 and I paid. So this looks like a 5% fee would be what this is. That's the math there. And then this one, so I paid a fee just to sell this of 1.71 or 171,000. But I made 2.7 million. So, or I effectively made 2.5 million. But again, I listed this at 2 million and sold it for 2.7. So you can either individually click get influence, or you can just get all influence. And you can see here, just in the course of this video, I've gone from like 120 million to 152 million. You'll make a lot of money farming at high levels. If you jump on the server and you're in running missions with me, getting leveled up or whatever, like you'll make a lot of recipes and a lot of money. Nobody that's run with me is hurting for cash now. At least not until they hit 50 and are buying set items and things like that. Yeah, so that is my knowledge of the auction house and how to make decent enough money. I mean, there's going to be people that know more. You'll learn more as you go. But this should get you started, and I hope it was helpful. So if it was, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not. Do all that YouTube stuff. Everybody tells you, you know by now what you need to do, or what we'd love you to do, what I would love you to do, is subscribe and like and comment and all that other stuff. But that's it. Hope the video was helpful, and we'll see you soon. Take care.